Are we set?
Yes, we're actually live now.
Wow, that's
Well,
great.
okay.
So good
Okay,
to be here.
man, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're
Ladies and
welcome.
gentlemen, viewers out there, welcome to another episode of Opinion Boss. And today we actually have a guest all the way from Germany, and who happens to be actually a very vibrant Africa, and with his experience, with that Z and the energy, he has been able to actually done a great jobs from back home in Africa, and at the same time encouraging or empowering so many youths in engaging what we call uh, public matters, engaging in what concerns the people. So today we actually have him, and his name is Caius. Is it right? Am I right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, Caius, easy. So without wasting time, I think we should just go straight. So please, they say in English at that time in my language you say now who they share cola na they first taste and to know how the cola they sweet. So I will just let you to tell us who you are. Actually, just introduce yourself to us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Timothy. Honestly, you are one of the amazing young guys over there in Italy, keeping it real. I love what you're doing, man. And, thank you very much for having me here. It's my pleasure to be here. And I feel so honored to be here. Thank you very much. So, my name is Caius Eze, but yeah, some friends call me mankind due to my humanitarian work. So Caius Eze from Enugu State in Nigeria. I've studied philosophy, University of Lagos. Then I proceeded to advance my studies in mission and dialogue in Rome. So and after then I live here now in Bayern, Germany. I am married, with lovely kids, and
Wow.
I'm the global president of Elite Leadership Foundation. I think one of the most sought after, leadership organization in Nigeria at the moment, and so far so good. We're just about 3 years old, and we've been doing quite a lot. So yeah, that's a bit about me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know, just like he said, he's a father and at the same time, very busy guy. So with so many appointments, so we're so happy today to actually have him around. So without actually wasting time, let's go straight to the main point, to the main discussion of the day. What I actually want you to understand that with your experience, with your work and so far, uh, you know, the topic of today actually have to do with the relevance of African youth empowerment and towards rebranding Africa, which we have to do. Let's say in terms of economic, politics, image above all. So, and with your work so far that you've been able to, that you've done with all these in all these years, both back home in Africa and the same thing even here in Germany. Can you share most of these works that you've done so far, and at the same time tell us what actually, let's say, the inspiration and the strength behind those achievements?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. So far so good. We're all trying our best to to give back to the community where we are coming from, just like what you're doing. You are using this platform to engage people, to air their views about how we can, put things in the right perspective. So you're also doing a good job, and I appreciate you for that. Like we all know, there's been there's a very big loophole in the system, especially where we're coming from. There's a very big loopholes, and integrity also has been compromised, from the part of the world where we're coming from. Like we all know, if you're a Nigerian and you present yourself somewhere that you're a Nigerian, the first notion people have is, okay, wow, maybe it's one of those you know, smart guys out there, or maybe one of those guys on the fast lane, you know, kind of, you know, it's now at your own prerogative to let people know that, hey, my name is Timothy Asote. I'm not that kind of person. My name is Caius Eze. Hey, I'm a different Nigerian. This is what I do. This is what I'm into. This is what I crave for. You know, so one of the fundamental reasons why I got myself engaged in what I'm doing is that um, I'm one of those young people out there whose philosophy is not on complaining, complaining, complaining. I mean, complaints wouldn't even take us anywhere. You know, back home in Nigeria, you know, every morning the newspaper stand, you see people coming to read headlines. They are talking about the political situations, talking about the leadership, you know, how this one happened, you know. But I mean, the era has changed. You know, the era should change to some people, depends. So for me, I believe I'd rather invest my time in, you know, thinking of what to do, how to play my own little role from my little corner to reach out to people, you know, than complaining. You know, so that was one of the reasons we felt like, okay, the major problem in Nigeria now has been, you know, mismanagement and leadership problem. So
Yeah.
now, how can we make a difference? It wouldn't be easy going to argue or make problems with those in power. They are in the power. They have everything. They have the resources. They can set you up. They can do whatever. We decided to channel our energy to the youth out there, especially to the grassroots schools, to visit them, to let them know who they are, you know, to speak to them, to let them have that sense of belonging, you know, sense of who they are, to understand who they are, where they are going to, and their purpose in life, and also how the other generations coming up behind them are also looking up to them, trying to let them know that even if our time, even if we couldn't make it, or even if those ahead of us have failed, we are so much concerned to ensure that these younger ones coming, they will not also, you know, follow the follow the path of, you know, the same trend that we're having in Nigeria, part of corruption, part of wrong orientations and stuff like that. So, and one of our program has also been to, the last time we visited Ikoyi prison. We went to the prison at Ikoyi prison, and
Wow.
I think that was one of our most, you know, phenomenal program as well. You know, we're there to speak to these people there, let them know that for the fact that you are here doesn't mean it's over. You know, you can still be a change maker. You can still rewrite your history. You know, you are a wonderful person. You are a great person. You guys are here for a reason. If you can realize why you are here, try to make amends, try to have a new orientations about life, then we are sure when you're out from here, you're going to be a better person. So, you know, we also try to see how we negotiate to release, to get some of the inmates out, and also we were there with some wonderful items for them, and they were so inspired. They were so delighted that we came around. You know, yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That is actually great. Just like what he said, you know, we let's say we actually come from a country where the image have been compromised by the opportunist set of people, these very few people who just decide to like mislead or misuse the image in a negative way. So, and for we to be able to actually achieve and make that change, like bring back our dignities. So just like what he's doing, he put in a lot of work, trying to encourage his youth that, come on, guys, even if you can't take it to the best at this moment, but you can always set a footstep that others can actually follow in the nearest future. Okay, now, still talking about the youth and the rebranding of Africa image. And this now brings us to the next question, because far back in the days, we actually have the likes of Mandela, you know, in their youthful age, they actually make that change into the policy making of the entire, not just only as a country, that it was actually a massive movement that was widely recognized even at the international level. And we also have, even back home, some younger ones also far back, Chief Enaihoro, who was actually one of the first youth far back in their early 21st year of age. He was actually even at the national level. So he was even actually the first Nigerian who moved the motion for Nigerian independence, and so many others also. And these are actually sets of people who gain an opportunity to like study or work, came to Europe or abroad, and they actually see the situation, the environment, and so on. They gain experience, and they went back home to make that change. Now, when we try to compare this past, youth involvement in policy making, like public decision making, compared to today, what do you think that we are actually mixing compared to these past youth, like who were really, who really took their time to invest for the benefit of their people, compared to the youth of today?
Yeah, thank you for that question. That's one of the most complicating issues at the moment, globally, because honestly, it's even a question I'm also going to be asking people like you, because I don't know what has happened to our youth today. I think a whole lot of things need to be checked, because back in the days, we had people in the likes of, Julius Nyerere of Tanzania. We had, just like you said, Mandela as well. Nelson Mandela, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Awolowo, and just to mention a few. We had a couple of all these guys who, I think the difference was that these guys, they had a very focused mindset. They knew what they wanted, and they were not ready to compromise. They knew what they wanted, and then during this time, most of the African nations were still under, colonization. So they were like, okay, it's time they need to break out. Let them come to the Western world to get their education, to know what is going on, what Africans are not getting right. And they already knew they were coming back, to give back to what they have learned. So our generation is losing it. Our generation, we are really losing it, because right now we get carried away, because I don't even know how to put it, because most of our youth today, once they come to the Western world, they experience that 24 hours, no power outage. They see the beautiful bridges, they eat some nice shawarmas and pizzas. They see the white, like beautiful girls or whatever, Then they were like, oh, is this what is happening here? I'm not going back home. But for me, as a leader, that doesn't define you as a real leader of our time. Because if you are carried away with what you are saying, you are carried away with what you are saying, and you forgot where you're coming from. You are really losing it, because whatever happens to the eyes would later, at the same time, affect the nose. So we know there's a fire in the mountain where we're coming from, and it is our own moral obligation in any way possible to come together. How can we, rationalize? How can we diversify? How can we send back messages home? How can we play our parts? Because it doesn't end, even if you refuse to return back home. We have our relatives out there. Like, seriously, things are very tough at the moment. I just came back about 3 weeks ago from Nigeria. I was there for 4 months. Yeah.
During this whole lockdown.
I was there. I was in Nigeria because I saw it coming, and I felt, I needed to be there. Whatever is happening, I need to be there with my family, with my loved ones, my friends. Let's go through all this together. So for 4 months, I was there, and I felt the pain with people. I felt the pain with these people. The little we had, I mean, my family and I, the little we had, we also had to, you know, engage in little palliative, you know, distribution because,
Yeah.
I mean, it was, my brother, during this period, during this lockdown thing, honestly, I, I, I wept as well because that was when I realized that an average Nigerian, an average African, they are strong people. They are strong people because right here in Europe, I mean, some people were ready to commit suicide if they don't get any support from the government. But
Yeah.
an African young person can live without any social benefits. All they want is they're not asking for too much. They just want to have their life. They just want to live their normal life. They want to be happy. They want to do their normal thing, and they are not disturbing. You know. So back to what we are talking about. These people, these great leaders in the past, for me, these are simply the definition of what leadership is all about. Ability to say no to compromise, ability to say no, I'm not denying the fact that I come from this part of the world. Ability to say, I mean, look at Mandela. For over
Yeah.
27 years, he was like, no. He could have said, okay, after all, these people I'm dying for, they're not here to even cheer me up, to encourage me. I mean, why must I kill myself? Let me come out and, after everything that was offered to him, but he refused. That is integrity. That is the definition of leadership. Let me cite a very quick scenario. I studied in Rome for about 1 year, almost 2 years. You know, I was in Rome for my studies. Mr. Timothy, I finished my program. I finished my exam on 20th of June. Then I had to book my return ticket like 2 days after the exam. People were like, what's going on? Why, you know, stay, this is Europe now. Why are you coming home now? Why, you know? They were like, I told them, no, I have a reason why I came here. My mission is over. Even the school wrote me that I should wait to get my certificate. I told them, you know what, I have to go back home. I'll come back later for my certificate. You know, so 2 days after my exam, I booked my return ticket back home. You know, so in summary, it's not as if I wasn't enjoying life out there, or maybe, I mean, I didn't like my situation over there, but I felt it's all about integrity also.
That's
Even
true.
if I'm going to stay back, I mean, I want to do it in the right way. I want to communicate through the right channel, through the right immigration officers, through their police, and you know, I return back home because I know with the situation of things in Nigeria, in every part of Africa, an average young person want to leave. I mean, I understand it's not easy. People want to
That's
leave
true.
because there is no opportunity, there is no plan, there's no work. But the point is, if we can come together to ask ourselves, for the fact that the government or people around are not, they don't care about us, you and I, how can we pull strings together to make a huge difference? Okay, if I wasn't doing the little I could, nobody would know anything about Elite Leadership Foundation. So we started from our little closet. We started giving out. We started reaching out. You know, organizing youth programs, telling them how to redefine themselves, how to think outside the box, how to get involved in innovative, you know, creations, innovative thinkings and stuff. And right now, the last program we did in October, the youth were like, please, when are you guys coming back? We love this. What you guys were teaching us is totally beyond what we learned, what we are learning in the school, in the walls of the school. You know, so we are happy to be doing this. We know we've not actually gotten to where we are going to, but so far so good. We're just so happy that, I mean, we are making a little impact, and we know that we still need more time. If more time is given to us, we're going to do more greater things ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much. That is actually great. So if you're watching us, please don't forget to as well share your opinion with us on what you think about how the African youth, can actually help to rebrand the image of Africa. This is actually discussion for today. Rebranding the image, empowering the youth to rebrand the image, and how can we make that happen? So if you're watching us, you can as well share your ideas with us. Don't forget, this is Opinion Boss, where all ideas, all opinions are highly acknowledged and welcome. So without wasting time, let us go to the next question, which have to do with now with the youth. Just like what you said, we have the likes of Mandela, who, you know, during his time, he actually stood up to say, no, I want that change to actually come through, to actually come to, let me say, okay, these things are not working, you know, in the right direction. I want to be the one to make that change. And we also have a situation, let me say Nigeria as a case study, where we have the likes of Nnamdi Kanu, for example. But I'm not of the school of thought that Nigerians should divide, you understand? But I think things get to an extent, so he decided to leave, though he did his own part. We also have the likes of Sowore. I think these are actually the youth of today that in their own way, they're actually contributing massively, you know. And he also tried his best and, you know, decided to also go back. Now, even to an extent, we as youth, we are even the same people criticizing others who wants to make that change at the national level. Being a national level to say, okay, things should be done this way. This is my experience in the European, the diaspora level. I think these things isn't working on the right direction, but we need to put things together and make this thing work out. But and some of us, due to our, let me say, self-centered interest, we just decide to always pursue what we can gain and instead of what all can gain. Without wasting time now, we go to the next question that have to do with how can today African youth become useful towards rebranding Africa for both economic growth, political participation, and policy making, and above all, rebranding the Africa image. How do you think we Africans can become, the youth can become useful?
Okay. Yeah, thank you for this once again. And you know, now let's be very realistic here, Mr. Timothy. Let's be very honest with ourselves, because with what is going on in Nigeria right now and most other part of Africa, we need to address issues the way it is practically. You know, what you may study in the book about Africa may be quite different from what is obtainable on ground at the moment. You know, so just returning from Africa, I think I can also tell people what is on ground at the moment. So you and I, we all know that at the moment, there is real fire on the mountain. A whole lot is happening right now in Africa, especially in Nigeria. A whole lot is happening, except we want to pretend everything is all right. Everything is not all right, you know? So
yeah.
One of the first thing I want to address, because this topic for today is not a topic that someone with PhD have to come and analyze to, you know, speak big grammars, or someone that no. I mean, we are discussing what is happening right now on ground, what is practical, what is obtainable in Nigeria, because it got to a point in Lagos, where I live, during the lockdown period. Some young guys came up with the name 1 Million Boys. These are young guys who decided to take to streets, you know, both in broad light and at night, to rob. So
wow.
I made my critical analysis on this. Why are these people, what happened? These guys were pushed to a point that, I mean, with my research so far, these guys are not typical robbers. These are young, vibrant boys that were restricted from going out there to pursue their businesses or their daily bread. So they had to come out to see what they could do, how to feed, and, you know, so they came up. Their name is 1 Million Boys, and of which that's one of the areas I also want to research on and communicate with our government, because to whom much is given, much is expected. You can't beat a child and expect a child not to cry. So at the end of the day, we realized that these guys, they were just so desperate. There was no social benefits, no palliatives for feeding. You didn't allow them to go out. You extended the lockdowns, and, you know, of course, no sane person would advocate for robbery No. But at the same time, you know, psychologically, because I mean, those in the Western world, people from the Western world, they have their philosophy, how they think. So I have to put a few things into perspective. That, okay, what happened? Why are these guys? What, you know, what led to this? Then you will realize that, I mean, these guys, these young guys were just pushed to a point that, I mean, all they needed to do is just go out there and see how they can desperately get something to feed from. Immediately the lockdown was eased, we never heard anything about 1 million boys again. So now, why am I setting this scenario? Today, we know that what is going on in Nigeria has just been these, our past old leaders. I don't call them leaders, they are politicians, because a leader wouldn't come out there to contest or to fight for posts. If you're a leader, people will watch you from afar. They will appoint you, they will give you an appointment. Mr. Timothy, we like what you're doing. Would you like to come home and become the youth ambassador or the minister for youth or the commissioner? You know, that is how a leader is being appointed. So, but by the time you see our old men out there, 85, 90, 75, still coming out, you know, to get themselves back on the same track of the political terrain, fighting for posts, I mean, then you will know they are up to something else. Because if with all due respect to our president, someone who ruled, who was, you know, who was a president in the late 70s, coming back again, you know, after about, you know, 4 decades to contest again. So my question is, during those you know, 4 decades, those things you couldn't, what are you coming out to implement that you couldn't implement, you know, 40 years back or 35 years back? You know, so right now we are in a jet age. We're in a digital world. We have young youths with, you know, vibrant minds. You know, they are critical in their thinking. They are ready to make a change, to push. But the problem is, the fundamental problem is that there's no room for these youths. There is no room for them. There's no platform for them, and that is the problem. So if you want the youth to be engaged in policy making, in democracy, in youth empowerment, in, you know, making, rebranding Africa, you must give them a platform. Timothy, today, do you know that I was researching? I tried to Google. I tried to find out. I checked our Nigerian national youth development centers. I had all the list. I checked all these centers. Do you know that in all these youth development centers, they were nothing. There was no structure in all those places. Some of them were just like a football field where, you know, some of them were just like a big hall. There's no IT facility in these halls. There's no, I mean, there's no games, no projectors, no vocational training materials. I mean, there's nothing to make these youths to get creative. No innovative facilities were there, you know. But and I checked my city here, you know, Bayern, Munich here, where I live, you know. I realized that even where we carry out our youth, our kids program here in a city called Nuremberg here, Nuremberg City, the government gave us a place where we're using. We don't pay for the place. It's a venue, a very big hall, a very big building just for the youths. Timothy, they have, I mean, they have a computer systems there. They have games there. They have recreational centers. They have you know, an avenue where they can, those kids with talent in singing and dancing, they have a hall where they can, you know, exhibit their talent. They have another section of where they play games, you know, mind games, computers everywhere, music, you know, table tennis, a whole lot of things were there for you know, to enable creativity. So if you are talking about giving youth a platform, then we should be able to ask ourselves and also ask those in charge, like the Commissioner for Youth, you know, the minister, the Commissioner for Education, and the rest of them. What are you guys putting in place? What is the plans you guys are having for our youth? Because if even if you have a program or a project to rehabilitate the youth from the streets, which sometimes we do, the point is, after rehabilitation, after, you know, correcting them, bringing them back to return them back to school, there's no facility anywhere. Nothing encourages them, nothing inspires them. So I think this is also a channel for every one of us to get engaged, to get our commissioners engaged, to get our local government chairman engaged, the governor of any state. Because one of the things our youth is also lacking, even those in school, one of the things we're lacking is we are not getting it right on the area of engaging in diplomatic protest. Of course, if you come out on the streets of Nigeria to protest, it is not obtainable. It's not the same way a protest is being done in the Western world. In the Western world, protest is legalized. It's your fundamental human right to
human right. Yeah, that's true.
A peaceful, protest and demonstrations. Even here in Germany, if you make your demonstration known ahead of time, the government will send the police and their convoy to ensure that there's a peaceful movement on that day, to ensure that everybody's safe. But if you are coming out to protest in our own part of the world where we're coming from, you want to endanger yourself, you want to endanger your life, so everything still boils down to liaising with our government for them to get their minds renewed. Their minds need to be renewed.
But don't you think that the government is using it as an instrument to keep the youth down? Because, for example, at the end of the day, their children doesn't live in Africa. Let me Nigeria as a case study. The politicians' children, they all live in abroad. They all schools in abroad. You understand? So giving those opportunity to the youth, it will make the youth to actually realize, hey, this is where I'm wrong, and this is things that I need to actually do, to make the things work out. What is also your idea referring to that?
Thank you for that. If you tell a child, there's a proverb in my place that says, if you tell a child not to go to where he want to go, then give that child what he's looking for. For example, maybe Minister of Foreign Affairs will say, okay, stop all this illegal migration, don't allow the youth to travel. If you are fighting against irregular migration, which sometimes too, I advocate for that. I wouldn't be a part of the team that will tell youth, okay, you have to escape, you have to follow this route. No. If you want to travel for your studies or for whatever, I will also admonish you follow the right channel so that you don't endanger your life, in the desert or in the sea. Of course, I will always do that. But as a minister, as a commissioner, if you are telling the youth, oh, don't travel, don't go this, don't leave Nigeria, you should be able to have a conference with the youth, organize one-on-one discussions with them. Okay, what is the problem? How can we also work together? How can the youth help us to, influence this change? But I'm sorry, they don't care. Because they don't care and there's no platform, there's no facilities, an average Nigerian youth, an average African youth want to go out there to search for opportunity. They want to go out there to become who they want to be. Now, Timothy, ask yourself, in Italy, how many times have you seen a Rwandan youth in Europe? Have you ever seen a South African youth? Out there, the only ones you could just see are maybe probably those that will be there for like a conference or for studies. But believe me, you'll be very personally, I've only seen one South African guy in Czech Republic when we went for a youth program. That was years back. I was astonished. I had to ask him, what are you doing here? This is my first time seeing a South African, it was like he just came for a program. After the program is going back. So after the genocide in Rwanda, now they are back now. Nobody's interested to tell you if he or she is a Hutu or a Tutsi. No. Now they have changed their mindsets, they have changed their philosophy. They don't want to go back to what happened in the past. Now they will tell you we are Rwandans, no segregation, no division. And right now Rwanda is producing smartphones. Rwanda is, they are top right now. They are spectacular. They are doing great things at the moment, and everybody want to visit Rwanda. So now, if you ask yourself, why are Rwandans youths and South Africans are not traveling abroad, and why are Nigerians always jetting out, escaping? It's a two different. It's very obvious. It simply means that something is not being done right in one part of the world. Maybe something is not being done right in Nigeria, because if everything is fine in Nigeria, honestly, an average youth wouldn't be interested in going to risk his or her life to travel to Europe through road. No, it's not as if Rwanda is richer than Nigeria. No, but the point is they feel very comfortable. They feel okay. They have this sense of belonging. Yo, this is my home. This is my country. Now the government needs me. My idea is needed. My fresh idea is needed. My philosophy is needed. My thinking is needed. And now the government and everyone, they have embraced the youth and they have given them that chance to come out and launch out how they can rebrand Rwanda. That right now everybody want to visit Rwanda, a country that had genocide about 25 years ago or thereabout. Now they have changed the narratives. So if just back to your question, if the leaders or the politicians, I don't call them leaders, if they are telling people, if they are telling people, don't go here because their children are not around, no one should be able to tell you what you want in life. As you are, Timothy, you should know what you want. You should know what you want, and if you are focused, you should know what you want in life, and you have to go for it. You have to go for it, because the system where we come from, the system is programmed to ensure that your visions, your dream don't come to fruition. The system where we're coming from will actually get your dreams degenerated. Our system will ensure that your dream, your vision is totally aborted. Now, have you ever asked yourself, what is it that an African youth that steps out from the shores of Africa, especially Nigeria, once they get to where they're going to, or that destination, be it in the United States or Europe, you see them, exploring, their potentials. You see them becoming who they are. You see them, exhibiting those innate talents, those potentials, just like who you are right now. You have this passion to connect like minds, to interview them on their opinions. And that's why you have this opinion box. If you're in Nigeria, I don't think you'll be able to run this program properly, because it's either you're running on Gen, or probably there are noise from, or maybe they are fighting on the streets, or you're not concentrated, But right here, the platform is there, the opportunity is there, But for me, what I'm now telling, my major advocacy to the youth is, if you find yourself, opportuned to be out there to the Western world, to study or to know how they're getting it right, please, I beg of you guys, after your studies, after your program, even if you don't want to go back to base home finally, please, let's always check home once in a while. Let's go back home. How can we empower our community? How can we give back? How can we sensitize the youth? How can we let them know that with their fresh ideas, we can collectively, organize programs that will even make, that will wow the politicians, program that will say, wow, is this program coming from my locality? Is it coming from my little community? Programs that will change several things. With all this, and with diplomatic letters to those in charge, to the local government personnel, to the governors, to the commissioners. I repeat, with diplomatic letters, telling them how we can work together. Most definitely, they will listen. They will listen. Yes. So I think that's my take on that for now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. You really analyzed. You said much. And people also commented, we also have, let me quickly try to read comment. Thanks everyone that is actually watching. And we have, we have Austin who said, rebranding Africa must start from rebranding our mindset,
Yes.
From how we think about Africa, how we think about our countries, our continent, and about us. And we also, yes, he said, we first know ourselves, who we really are, our history, and get our education, not the one we learn in school. Before what we learn in school is only what they want us to know, just like what you're doing, the same thing, you're going around sharing your ideas with the kids, telling them what is really the facts. The fact that they are mixing when it comes to about whenever they go to school and so on. So not just only on what they read from the books that are being imported, but at the same time, always having that opportunity to also get maybe ideas above all from the diasporas. Let's put it like that. And we also have Federica, who said you have to raise your head. Without Africa, many countries won't be nothing. Okay, thanks, Austin. Okay, what should be rehabilitated is mostly the mind, which is always the mindset. The Western world ripped us of everything. No matter how much the government built on the foundations, they are played down by the, okay, just 1 minute. They are played down by the Westerners. We never work in Africa. We have our style, way of doing things. We have to go back to the beginning. We are the only tribe who was ripped of our name, culture, habit, identity. Rebranding Africa has to start from these things. Okay, we also have Gabby. Thank you, guys. You guys are making sense. Thank you so much. These were actually some of the comments that we can be able to, that we're able to read. And
Mr. Timothy,
now,
can I just quickly address something in the next 2 minutes?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. You know, like I'm super excited that most of the comments are really anchored on self-awareness, knowing who we are, and also our mindsets. And fine, of course. I mean, I'm also a person who believe in metaphysical thinking and critical reasoning. Before this program, of course, I'm always preaching mind renewals and reorientations and stuff like that. Because there's a German saying that says that idea rules the world. Of course, idea rules the world. So before this city was built, like now, the city of Munich or the city, just name any city, it has first existed in the mind of the architect. It has existed in the minds of those who are the leaders of that city, the town planners and how they want to. So we as well, like I said, no matter how much potentially endowed an African person is, he still needs a platform. Because okay, like now, Philip Emeagwali, after he discovered, I mean, when he came up with this program on the computer, probably in Africa, in Nigeria, we didn't really see that potential in him. But right now, America embraced him. I mean, just to mention, there are a couple of other guys out there who are really mentally sound. For example, you go to a university and there's no a platform. I mean, you will not ask yourself, out of most of our engineers, after studying civil engineering and other thing, you don't see them working on that field. The government want to do any program or any construction work, they invite the Chinese or you now tell yourself that you can now see that at the moment it's like there's no plan for you in that country. There's no plan, there's no platform. That's what I'm saying. If in any way we find ourselves in any part of the world to get enlightened, to get education, please, it's still our duty to make sure we will rebrand Africa with our knowledge, with our idea, with whatever concept we have, because idea rules the world. By so doing, because the entrepreneurial drive in Nigeria now is really on the high side, and an average Nigerian is skillful. They have ideas, they are innovative, and I love this. And I'm sure if we have about 10 more years from now, and the leadership of Nigeria takes shape, believe me, a whole lot of people from Western world, they will return back to Nigeria to do their best.
Okay, thank you. Now we're talking about Western world. Okay, this actually brings us to, I think we still have like 15 minutes, 15 minutes to round it up for the day. Talking about Western world, okay. The same time, most of folks, we actually have that privilege to now live in Western world, and along the line, we also have the opportunity to also gain orientation, not just only on the practical aspect, even on theoretical aspect, maybe attending their education at their schools, and at the same time, come back to their normal social or public service, And now this brings my question to the diaspora. what is expected from diaspora youth towards rebranding Africa? Because I think those that live back in Africa and those that live here, I think there should be two orientation. Because when you live in non-working circle, non-working system, a system that doesn't function, and now we had the opportunity to live in a working system, a system that is productive, that is functioning, you know, gaining those orientation. How can the diaspora youths make that change in rebranding Africa?
All right. That's another critical, good question. And, Timothy, the problem we're having right now is most of our youths, including you and I, we honestly, our today's youths, once we cross that, that shores and we're in the Western world, we get lazy. Yeah. And that laziness would not in any way help us. We are getting, I know some people are trying their best. I know some people already, they have their NGOs, they have their organizations, they are trying their best, but more is still expected, from every one of us. Because there's always a saying in US, the Americans use this a lot. Each one teach one, each one look back, pick one up. So I will always tell our people, if you, just like you said, we are opportune to be here. It's not as if we're the most intelligent people or we're the most educated. No. It's just the grace of God that brought us here. And personally, what we're even thinking of from our foundation is maybe by the time the COVID is over, so we are thinking of, okay, maybe every year, like 5 students. How can we empower 5 students, bringing them to Europe to study? And before such will be done, we always want to make sure that they give us, their signature or their promise that after their studies, they will also be an instrument of change in terms of giving back, to the community. Because come what may, Africa is our home, Nigeria is our home. I know it's painful. A lot of people, they want to curse Nigeria. They want to say so many things. If I leave this country, I'll never. I know it is painful what is happening. But believe me, we will not wait for our ancestors or for the Westerners to come back and restructure that environment. It's still our assignment to do. I know things could be tough right now, but with all this, our effort, just like what you're doing right now, we share ideas, we're building together, we're planning, we're networking, and I know we'll always get there. So my candid advice to our youth out there in diaspora, honestly, please guys, no matter where you find yourself, you could be in Australia, in Canada, United States, or in Germany, or Alaska, whatever. Your identity must not be lost. Your identity remains, even if you already have the German passport or the Italian passport. In most cases, your place of birth is always in that passport. If you have a Canadian passport, your place of birth, if it's in Benin City, they will write it Benin City. If it's in Nsukka, they will write it in Nsukka. If it's in Abeokuta, so your identity. So with this identity, if you have that mindset of where you're coming from, and you know that, yes, this is where I belong, this is my roots, a responsible youth will always know that I know my identity and I'm not a lost person. I still have my thinking, I know my roots, and I have to play my role as well. So finally, our youth in diaspora, please guys, let's not be carried away with what we are saying, because if I want to be a little bit spiritual right now, even the scripture says that things that are seen are temporal. So whatever you are seeing, it doesn't matter the kind of the city you live, be it the most beautiful city in where you are, the things you see, they are temporal. So I will advise you guys, let's keep pressing towards the higher calling. What is the higher calling? Self-identity, thinking outside the box. How can I make a change? How can I build a bridge between Africa and Europe where I am? How can I take those ideas our leaders are losing? How can I return it back home? How can I build that bridge? How can I reorientate the younger ones? How can I let them know that traveling through the road, through the sea, through the desert could endanger their lives? So with all those things, definitely with all those things, with that self, awareness, with that self, identity of who you are. Because right here in Europe, as an African, the Europeans will never give you a respect except you are doing something that has to do with African culture. It's only if you project African culture, African lifestyle, African tradition, African food, they will give you respect. And that's why African festival in every part of the world gains more respect. Because right now, you can't come in here and teach them, most of their ITs. They know what they're doing. They have their structures. So it is now left for us to introduce our culture to them, to let them know how beautiful our culture is, and to let them know how intelligent we are as well. But at the end, let's make sure we return things back home to, to pick one up from the streets and make them become who they are supposed to be also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, man. This is actually great. I just have to be very, very sincere here that I've learned a lot today. And thank you so much for your time with us. Thank you. I really, really appreciate. Just like what even today I was actually talking to somebody. We were actually speaking, and next thing actually is actually watching too. And we were just discussing from Africa, from America, the Black Lives Movement, the Black Americans, the Africans in diaspora, and the same thing. This whole team, bounce back to like the identity. You understand? I still know that even just like what you said, because most places when I tender my passport, say in Italiano, like okay, you're Italian, but at the end they say where I was born, like Epoma. They're like, ma che città è questo? So at the end of the day, it bounces back. And most time, maybe most time, if I should enter different places, people will like, I just say Americano, like, are you an American? But by the time I said no, I'm African, the atmosphere automatically changed. You understand? Because of why? Because that is the identity. Like if I wasn't really an American, I think the respect and everything was like, yeah. But being an African, automatically like, okay, you understand? That is where the identity actually comes in. And before I give you the last moment, somebody said I should ask you, which is actually Gabri. And thank you, Nexi. Thank you for joining us. We also have the likes of who is Augustine. Thank you so much for always supporting us too. And good news, you just joined. Gabri said, what do you see Nigeria in next 10 years? Do you believe that our youth will rise up, to actually meet this requirement to this occasion?
It's very simple, for me at the moment, a whole lot of youth now, they have one of their legs as a Nigerian, and one other leg is most are about to deny, their nationality or their identity, because people are really getting frustrated. Just like you mentioned, someone like Nnamdi Kanu and also Showore, you mentioned them kind of, personally, I'm not a politician. I don't like talking about politics. But if in the likes, if someone like Showore or Nnamdi Kanu could get up to say, okay, something needs to be done, So they have seen something. Something is wrong somewhere. So maybe I'm not in the position to analyze what is wrong right now. But you and I, we know that something is wrong somewhere. If Showore says revolution now, he knows something is wrong somewhere. I mean, because he lives in the US, but he wants. So you and I, we hold Nigeria so dear in our hearts. We are craving for things to change. So I think to answer that question is very simple. The Rwandan president, the South African president, then the Ghanaian president right now. If we can analyze what they've been doing since they came to power, if we can put it into context what they are doing and why their country is now taking a proper shape, then we will know that if the right leadership is where we are supposed to be, representing Nigeria in a positive light out there, believe me, even the embassies in Nigeria, they will pack out, they will leave, because by the time things are in the right perspective, the embassies will stop exploiting those who are desperate to travel, because they know in a month, maybe in a month, maybe they are stipulated to give about just maybe 100 visas. So if 1 million people are applying, you should know how much they are making. Why? Because those embassies, they know that they make more money in countries where things are not working out right. Go to countries like Rwanda or South Africa or Mauritania. They are not ready. Nobody travels. They are not going anywhere. So if all this, if the right leadership is in place, if the right leadership is in place, honestly, Nigeria is the most beautiful place on earth to live. If, quote unquote, if the right leadership is in place, because by then they will be doing things like people who are sane. The right thing. Yeah, I mean, look at our election period. I mean, a whole lot of things that we can't even talk about. Is it the election? Is it the school system thing? Even before the COVID, the schools are not in section. So there's a whole lot I don't want to talk about, but I know things are not right in Nigeria. And if the right leadership are in power, doing the right thing, honestly, a whole lot of people will be back to live in Nigeria and to make Nigeria a greater nation. Because I know Nigeria, there's no country like Nigeria. I'll repeat this, yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Caius. Easy. So with that, before we go, we want you to actually give your advice to the listeners out there, advise the listeners, and you can also share your web. The listeners can actually get in touch with you, how they can reach you, your platforms and so on. You can also tell us.
Well, just briefly, as a leader of Elite Leadership Foundation, that's just the name. Check us on our Facebook page, Elite Leadership Foundation. And also, in case of anything, I'll be willing to attend to our youth in any way possible, in my capacity, in any way possible. And I could be reached via my WhatsApp, +491 577 090 4476. +491 577 090 4476. That's my WhatsApp number for anything that is, if there's any way I can be of a help. So finally, my advice out there, I have two advices. And the first one is to all African leaders. It's a very short one. To all African leaders, please, let's put an end to always looking for international community to help us. I think we are ripe enough to do things the right way. We are ripe enough. We are matured. We have everything. We even have what the Westerners don't have. We have all the resources. So please, if you are a leader in any capacity, in your local government, in your state, in your whatever office or ministry you're occupying, please, let's respect ourselves and stop writing or crying to the Western world to come and help us. Please, is enough of that. Because since 1960 till date is a whole lot of years for us to know what we want for ourselves. We're not kids anymore. We're no longer wearing pampers. We're matured, and if we don't know, we need to know that France they make almost $500 billion from Africa, from the French-speaking African countries every year. Check it yourself. Convert it to Naira, $500 billion per annum.
That's crazy.
Yes, you can check it. It's from the European Institute for International Studies. I can send you the link. So that's one thing. So lastly, for the youth out there, honestly, guys, to be very honest, as a Naija boy, see, nobody is going to help you. As in, like, let me be a bit. I'm not trying to be arrogant or sarcastic, but I want to be real. Nobody, even your family relative, nobody is ready to help you. It's left for you to do those things you've not been doing that will skyrocket you to your new horizon. If there's a particular way you have been thinking, let it be a shift. Let there be a paradigm in your mindset. Change your mindset, because the system is programmed that you will not go beyond this level. That is how the system is fashioned. So now it is left for you to think outside, not even outside, think far away from the box. I come from a home where naturally I shouldn't be able to afford to make my international passport. From a very poor home background, but I didn't let the things I was seeing in my environment, I didn't let my background, to hold me down. So nobody's out there to help you. Right now, I can write a letter to the Nigerian ambassador to Germany, Ambassador Yusuf Metama Tuga, and he'll say, okay, when are you coming? I'm expecting, because I've tried to make sure he knows my track records. I've been with a couple of other ambassadors. Because why? Because I allowed my light to shine. So the factors around your society, your relatives, even some friends, be very careful the people you hang around with. If you must do something new, if you must attain a new height, you must begin to do things you never done before. By checking your friends. If you don't have friends that propels your thinking, if you don't have, if you're the most intelligent person in the midst of your friends, please leave that group. You need to be in the midst of people that will stretch you mentally. You need to be in the midst of people that will make you know how the potentials you have, not people that will talk you down. So no matter what, the system of Africa, the system of Nigeria, our environment, your relatives, they will not want to see you shine. So it is left for you to pull up yourself, go extra miles, engage, connect, do the right thing. Above all, don't leave prayers. And I know I will see you guys on the top, and at the end, we'll tell our stories in a positive way. Thank you very much, Timothy.
Hey, thank you so much. Just like I'm also like Gabi tonight, who said you don't school. Let me put it in the normal pidgin way, that you don't go school tonight, just like somebody like me. And if you're watching up from Nigeria or from Africa, actually, just like what he they try to talk is that if you're not the kind of person when we say now you intelligent parts, being intelligent not be just saying now you school parts, but now you really understand where all of them they go. You have to switch, because just like in another word they say life is a school, so you must need to follow those that you can also learn from, just as others are learning from you. But when you stay within the circle, automatically you are telling them that you have reached your height, and all of them should start learning from you. And before you know what is happening, either you remain stagnant or you go down. So thank you for joining us tonight. This is Opinion Boss, the platform where everyone share their ideas. And at the same time, by 9 p.m. tomorrow, we also be having two guests. One from Congo, who also happens to be a lawyer, and she's actually the president of an association for women's rights and movement here in Europe. And at the same time, we also have a student from University of Turin, who happens to be an economist. Will also be joining us tomorrow. The title is actually in Italian. We will be broadcasting in Italian language, but let's see how we can be able to also relate it in English. The title is actually Africa il nostro sogno, which is Africa, our dream. So don't forget to join us tomorrow, and I promise you will definitely enjoy it. And thank you once again. Thank you, Mr. Eze, for your time with us. I really do appreciate. And we do hope to have you, by God's grace, maybe sometime next month, as soon as possible. I will definitely be glad to have you again.
It's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. And thank you very much for also having me. I'm super excited for the privilege. Thank you very much, and keep up the good work. I love what you're doing, and keep it real, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. To the listeners, 9 p.m. tomorrow. See you guys again. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Ciao, ciao.
Yeah. Bye, ciao.